Well, welcome back. As you can see, I'm all wrapped up warm. It's January, and we're currently in England having a very, very cold spell here. It's probably the coldest winter for the last 30 years, so we're told. As you can see behind me, it's quite a bit of snow about, and I thought we'd come out. The weather's broken today, it stopped snowing, and we've got this beautiful light. Any time at this time of year during the winter, the sun is always very low in the sky, so you can actually shoot pretty much all day and get some lovely pictures. So now the clouds actually broken, the sun's come through, we're getting some lovely textures on the snow and just some beautiful beautiful landscapes. So I thought I'd bring the camera out, bring the video camera too, do a bit of video and some photography, and I'll give you a few tips about shooting in the winter landscape, and we'll see what we get. Well, welcome back. I've now thawed out. I'm in a nice warm studio, and I've offloaded my images that I shot yesterday. As you can see from the video a second ago, the light was absolutely beautiful, and everywhere you turn there seemed to be a picture there waiting to be captured. So I've taken quite a few shots. I'm going to show you a few of those in a second, and go through and just give you a few tips. Some of them are going to be fairly obvious, I think, but I'll go through them anyway, and hopefully we can throw in a few tips which are not particularly based on shooting in snow as well. Well, we'll start off with the obvious first, which is the exposure and light meters. When I started photography, I was always told that the meter is a moron, and that still applies today. I mean, the camera meters in the cameras that we possess now are just amazing. I mean, I very, very rarely pick up a handheld meter these days because from experience I know when to override the meter's reading and when not to, and snow is one of those situations where you need to interpret the reading you're getting from the camera. When your meter, or a handheld meter or your camera meter, is pointed at something that's very, very predominantly dark or white, it's going to give you the wrong reading. For instance, in snow, it's going to tell you that the scene is a lot brighter than it is and underexpose the snow. So you need to compensate for that. In general, with snow, you need to increase your exposure from anywhere from 2/3 to 2 stops extra exposure. For this particular image, I gave the exposure an extra 2/3 of a stop. It was also backlit as well, but I knew that would probably be ample. And these days you can check your histogram on the back of your camera and you've gotten some feedback, so there's no real reason to panic or worry about exposure anymore. You've got that reassurance by checking your histogram of whether your exposures are off, but bear in mind, if you had to take a grab shot, maybe something's coming at you fairly quickly and you had to take a quick meter reading, in general, if there's a lot of snow on the floor like there is in this shot, add an extra stop on the safe side, and that will get you in the ballpark. But if in doubt and you've got time, check your histogram. The next thing to mention is colour balance. It's nothing to fret or worry about, but it's worth a mention. When you shoot snow on a sunny day, you're going to get a bit of a colour cast from the sky reflecting in the image, as you can see here, especially in the shadow area. And it's something to really concern yourself about. All you need to do is obviously change the white balance on your camera if you wish. I actually think it's a very acceptable colour shift. It's cool and it's in keeping with that kind of snowy, cold winter's look to the images. But if it is a concern for you, you can change the white balance on your camera, or do what I do, which if you shoot raw, don't worry about it, just leave the camera on daylight, and if you get back when you process the images, if you don't like it, you can filter it out quite easily. You can also do that if you shoot JPEGs, but you may well be better if you're not going to want that cool look, to change your white balance on the camera as you shoot them. To prove the point, I just thought I'd take these two straight from camera raw and just show you. These are pretty much as shot. This one on the left is straight from camera, pretty much. I've tweaked the colours a little bit, but you can see it's taken on quite a cool tone in the shadows. The highlights I have warmed up a little bit, but this one on the right is adjusted. I've adjusted the colour temperature just to warm it up a bit. So just to prove the point, you can just shoot on raw and leave the camera on daylight and then just adjust it in post as you feel fit. It's a much better way of working. I think it just keeps your options open to you. So that is really the main tips for shooting snow. As I said, I told you it wasn't that difficult, and it's not. And that's really it's mainly exposure. If anything, is the main concern to watch out for. You've got a lot of light bouncing around off the snow and stuff like that, and ice. So those are really it. The only other things I would say is that batteries do tend to die a lot quicker in cold weather. Actually, when I was out doing this video, my battery was fairly low on my camera, but I've used it obviously for many years now, and I know that when it looks like it's low, it's probably got lots of frames left on it and not a concern. But as always, I took a spare battery with me, and it actually did go flat, and I think that was due to the cold weather drained it that much quicker. So spare batteries are always advisable to take out with you, and also depending on the camera you use, if you're not using maybe a pro end camera that are usually very well sealed, just be careful of it getting a bit wet and so forth, because the water can get into the electronics and cause you a few problems there. So just the obvious, really. And on a general advice is just to keep your eyes peeled. Beautiful light, whether it's snow on the ground or not, can transform the most mundane objects into something really beautiful. For instance, this image was on top of a wall. It was just a bit of vine ivy or something like that, and you wouldn't give it a second look. But what caught me was the beautiful backlit light coming through these leaves in the background, and I shot this on a very wide aperture, the widest I can go, and it's just transformed the image into something quite beautiful, I think. I'm not going to say it's going to win any awards for best picture of ivy or foliage or anything like that, but it just caught my eye, and I think that's what I'm trying to make, is that beautiful light can be very, very inspiring and turn the most mundane objects into something really beautiful. And here's another snap from yesterday's shoot. This one I was walking through a churchyard, and this dappled lighting drew my attention to this footprint in the snow, and it just really contrasted nicely with this hamstone, this very old step on the church. And as I said, when the light's that low, that wintry light's that low in the sky, you tend to pick up a lot of textures, and I love the contrast between the cool snow and the warm step, and also the textures that the light's picking up. So that's what drew me to this one. So just keep your eyes peeled. You can't underestimate what really great light will do, as I said, to the most mundane objects. It just transforms them into something beautiful. So it's just a matter of capturing with the camera.